At what point did the religious people stop creating the consumerism and start bitching about it? At what point did that occur? Did that switch over? Sheba? My name's Sheba, and I think it started in 1542.
I don't think that there's ever religious people that manufactured consumerism. I just think that you have a lot of conservative religious people today, like Jackson said, looking back at this non-existent golden era that just never was, and they want to return to those days. And they look at what's causing this degradation of the holiday, and they attack people that are non-religious. They attack the consumerism. They're just looking for something to answer why their Christian holiday is not given the respect that they think it's due.
We're coming up on the midpoint here of the program. You're listening to the Communiqué on lunkradio.org. Andrew had something to say next.
Well, I was going to say, I think it's kind of a convenient political agenda to look back at the golden era, because we're talking about people who aren't educated in history and didn't know what happened. So when it comes to authority figures, for the religious people, the priests, the perhaps the political figures that speak to their agenda can tell them what the golden era was like, can tell them what they want to bring society back, and probably have a lot of ideas, and when it comes to consumerism, can sell you what you need to get back to that golden era.
And one of the privileges of writing the history books is taking certain liberties with your narrative, and there tends to be a political agenda behind doing that. I mean, obviously emphasizing, notions of religious purity is a very convenient way of trying to promote your own agenda of trying to impose more theocratic oriented laws on the state.
And that's definitely what they want. Is they want to see more of more religious symbols in the public sector, and they want to see more of a special attention paid to Christianity, because they feel that this country is really a Christian country, when it's not. The people that founded the country were not explicitly Christian. A lot of them were heavily influenced by Enlightenment ideals, and a lot of them were deists, and that's why we have, in the First Amendment in this country, we have the separation of church and state. And I think that's because the people, the framers, were aware of the dangers that come from the entanglement of state and church. Wouldn't you?
I've got to say, though, the more I thought about it, and I would love to see some case studies done and some historical studies done on this, and maybe I'll have to do them someday when I have my PhD in history. But honestly, you like to credit these founding fathers for just being giants of liberal thought, and sort of.
Well, they weren't, but
no.
I think that's one thing that they got right.
But the question to me is why, and it seems to me, obviously, when you have English colonies populated largely by Anglicans, and we'll just describe the Church of England here just a little bit for the sake of my argument. The Church of England is basically a Catholic church that recognizes the King of England as their Pope. Now, if you're trying to lead an insurrection to break these colonies away to become their own separate country, and you're taking up arms against British soldiers, is it going to erode your credibility when your Pope is ultimately commanding those troops that you want your neighbors to take up arms against? Does allowing for if we had allowed for the creation of a state religion in this country, it very likely would have been Anglican or a split off of Anglican, of the Church of England. So, and how does that? I mean, how can you even maintain a separate, independent country when your Pope is the ruler of the country you're just trying to split away from?
That might have been most of or part of their motivation, but that seems to be that something. It definitely is something that's essential to keeping a republic, is to separate the powers that religion have away from the powers that government have. Because if you don't, there inevitably will be the formation of a theocracy.
What do you think so? I mean, there are state religions in most of the Scandinavian countries have established state religions, and yet they have an order of political democracy and of individual liberties that really puts ours to shame.
I don't know if I don't think that.
Here's the thing: Brian thinks religion causes all things bad everywhere throughout the whole universe, and
No, I
Jackson
wouldn't
thinks
say
he's
that.
full of bull crap.
I wouldn't say that. I would say that
Sheba.
for whatever reason, the Scandinavian countries have been. There's been a predominance of liberal thought, and most of them evolved into social democracies, and the public became aware
Well, they evolved into social democracies, or generations of workers fought and died to build social democracy.
Religious or not.
Religious or not.
And how has that addressed the issue of commercialization in Christmas?
Well, we're going off on a
We're
tangent.
not
We
even
can't.
talking about that. We're just talking about how Brian is full of crap.
Say what you really think, Monty.
Sheba thinks
Well, our
Brian's
audience-
a godless bastard.
Our audience of Andrew's friends are really going to start thinking we're ganging up on Brian.
And okay, well,
We'll tell you
why don't
later.
we address a specific part of the audience here? No, what I was going to talk about, what Brian was saying, and what that is, I believe, Christianity in addressing Christmas is privilege. I mean, when you want your icons around and you don't want anyone to have any ability to say anything about it or detract from your views, you want a special place for your religion in society, a special role. That's a sort of social privilege for your ideology to be prevalent. And you talk about wanting this to be a Christian country. What you want is special status as a person, a special form of social privilege in the country.
Well, I'm not saying that the framers of the Constitution or the founders of the country were really anything that great. I mean, if you look at what they were privileged aristocrats that were, most of them were slave owners, and they built the society to be what it is today, which is a society divided by class distinctions and a society based on private ownership. And
But what they did get right was that they hated baby Jesus.
no. What I'm saying is, let's say that this country, which was founded in the First Amendment, we have the First Amendment clause against or for the separation of church and state. If that wasn't there, don't you think that the United States would have taken a different turn toward more of a theocratic society?